If you want to learn from the greatest art teacher in the world, check out Visual Storytelling by Bill Perkins only at New Masters Academy, the world's absolute #1 online art school. Click link down below for a free 7-day trial. Thank you, New Masters Academy. I am in your mind. I am in your... Hey everybody, welcome back to the Honey and Absinthe After Hours Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Vincent, background designer for the Hollywood animation industry.
And I'm Janet, the ex-Disney artist and independent creator, and this is a podcast about all things art, business, and whatever we feel like.
Now today we're going to talk about 2022 predictions. Hollywood is still dying, and here's why.
But before we get into it, make sure to smash, jingle, touch all our bells and buttons.
All about buttons over there. Hey everybody, the year is 2022. We hope you're doing great. You're looking great. The best you've ever looked, I think.
Yes. You are going to have a great Monday because you're here with us
Listening
to
us.
chill.
To chill. Now, a whole year ago, we talked predictions.
Yes.
We made predictions about 2021, and boy was it fun. And watching some of those predictions unfold.
Yes. We were right and wrong about a lot. But I think it's fun. I think it's fun to make predictions and to go back in time and rewatch them. Or reread them, however you make predictions. And because you really put your ass on the line.
You're making a bet with life, man.
Yeah. And we are going to embarrass ourselves publicly.
By
because
making
it's
more
fun.
predictions.
Yes. This should be a tradition every year.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should be. I think it'll help people take themselves less seriously.
Yes.
Which I think is a lot of people should do on the internet. Yes.
So we're going to go through making predictions about entertainment, culture, and politics.
Oh, politics. Oh no.
And yeah, we will see if they happen throughout the year.
Entertainment
Yes.
is the first category we are doing predictions for.
Yes.
The state of entertainment has changed. Remember, a long time ago, in 2019, when movies came out, and they would be in theaters for about three and a half to 4 or 5 months, and then they come out on streaming and Blu-ray and DVD.
Yes.
Now, that window has turned to about a month.
Or
even
less. Depends if the movie's doing well or not in theaters. Because let's start with Netflix and streaming.
In the beginning of 2020, we were knee-deep in the streaming wars.
Yes.
Disney had just come out, and Mandalorian is coming to a close. I think that's when they did pull the whole Luke thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Around that time?
I think so. It's been so long. So
my
many
God.
years has passed since then. I feel like I've aged a decade in the past 2 years. But
Like
yes.
an anime time skip.
Yeah. Yes, in 2020, I think everyone, at least if you're like aware of entertainment news, you're in entertainment, maybe you work in it, or maybe you're just like a super pop culture nerd or something, you were really into like the streaming wars. You're like, I want Disney Plus, or I'm all about Netflix, or HBO Max had like just come out like during the pandemic, and then people like didn't care, but then we were like, it's actually kind of like the best one.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
So we predicted previously that the streaming wars were going to be a thing. Now it's been a year and a lot has changed. I actually think in the next year, in 2022, streaming is going to have a really rough time. A really, really rough time. And the proof is, for whatever reason, Netflix stocks have dropped, like, drastically in the past 2 days. Or, since we're recording this, it might have dropped even more by the time you're listening to this. It's not looking good. Netflix has lost a lot of money. They've raised prices.
It's hard for them to get new subscribers.
For every streaming service, yeah. We can all speculate as to why, but I predict that it will continue to happen. Partly because I've talked about this before, but I think social media is winning over streaming.
I was about to say, if no one's watching the TV shows and the movies, where are they going? To the internet.
Straight to the internet.
Straight to the internet.
I think the main reason why, this is anecdotal because it's our personal experience, but we can't keep a subscription to any streaming service for very long because the content that comes out on any one service can't keep up with our consumption. But the internet can. So I don't know if you've noticed, but every time you get like a Netflix subscription, you'll go and watch like Stranger Things or something when it comes out, but then there's like nothing for like months.
Yeah, when you get a subscription for any service, you're like, oh, I'm going to watch the things that I want to watch. Yeah. But then the problem is when you watch all the things you want to watch, you're like, oh, shoot, there's really nothing to watch and I have to wait for the next Squid Game or something like that.
Yeah.
But for the internet, it's an endless hole, man. It's a black hole of like, oh, I'm into watching whatever live music or into watching Japanese cooking. Mm-hmm. It's endless.
Yeah.
Just Japanese cooking for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And I'm
Japanese cooking anime. Shokugeki no Soma.
Yes. In my opinion, a very good one. Very, very naughty one. I like it too. Anime is going to dominate in the next year. In my opinion, if I dare make this prediction, it's going to dominate for the next decade.
Whoa, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's like as long as Disney dominated
Yes.
the market.
But the signs are there because people who are not Gen Z probably won't understand this, how obsessed Gen Z are with anime. And Gen Z are currently in this like high school to college to just graduated college age range. They're aging up to the point where they're becoming the main focus the way millennials were in the past like decade or so. And we, as millennials, we're really into Disney, we're really into Marvel and comics, that kind of thing. We were kind of into anime, but Gen Z takes it to a whole new level.
We are cusp millennials.
Yes.
Which means that we are really into anime compared to our older millennial brethren who are really into like Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Right? But we're really into anime. We are of the 90s generation persuasion where Digimon and Pokemon was a big thing. Mm-hmm. And the first wave of lots of Adult Swim stuff and Toonami stuff like Rurouni Kenshin, Gundam, and Cowboy Bebop, Fooly Cooly, all this stuff. But this new generation of anime fans who are watching Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, all these things, they just take it to the nth degree.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't think our generation ever took it. We were watching anime become the biggest thing on like the internet and like the corners of the internet, like TikTok. Yeah. And now it's becoming super mainstream, whereas it looks like there's going to be an anime movie in the theater almost every month.
Yeah.
At least one.
When it used to be really, really difficult for us to go watch a newly released anime movie, and if you for sure couldn't watch it dubbed, you had to watch it subbed or something, all the way in Century City or whatever. It's like one showing in all of the land. Now it's in like every theater. Like My Hero's going to be in every theater, Demon Slayer's in like every theater, and to see people show up for it too. If you don't believe us, I really think anime is next, because if you're following the trend of like, us millennials, we're not cool anymore. We're not the ones you should be like chasing after our dollars anymore. It should be Gen Z.
We are the last of the millennials.
We are.
We are 30-year-old people.
Yeah.
There are no more millennials in college.
No.
Unless they're pursuing some sort of higher education.
Yeah. So like people need to like stop criticizing millennials.
Because we just don't matter anymore.
Because we're parents now.
We are an obsolete people. We are parents.
We are young parents now. Like, you don't understand. When you go to the mall, like the parents are the millennials, and the
parents are people who are around our age.
Yeah, people who still criticize millennials sound like boomers, because what they're really referring to is the oldest of Gen Z, like the 24-ish, 25-year-old kids. Those are Gen Z now. Like the people that you cringe at and the people who are like you're annoyed at, that's Gen Z. That's not millennials. And I think the box office numbers are going to stay the same.
I was like, what? No way. You don't think it's going to get a little bit better? Because I was a little bit shocked by this year's box office showing, because I was a lot more bleak. I was a lot more like, oh, people aren't going to go anymore. It's over for movies. But it looks like with all of these movies like Spider-Man and Ghostbusters and all these things, It's doing well, but not nearly as well as 2019. Not nearly as well as when we were talking about Frozen, which made like a bajillion trillion dollars.
Yeah. Well, I always have this this look at why the box office is doing so poorly, and for the longest time, I don't buy what the media has been spinning about. Like, why?
That's because of COVID.
Yeah, because
people
of the
are afraid
pandemic,
to go to the theaters because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I don't buy it because there's too many instances of movies doing better than they should have, and like it's clear that if people are going to risk going to the theater, as like these journalists would have you believe, then why weren't they scared to go watch Spider-Man? Why weren't they scared to go watch Ghostbusters? Why weren't they scared to go watch Demon Slayer? And like a number of like weird occurrences. I don't think it has anything to do with the pandemic. I think the pandemic did something that inspired change, but I think we're in like this new normal where I think Hollywood needs to expect to make this much from now on. I think a rare success is going to be something like Spider-Man, because you can't do Spider-Man again like that, you know, like
it took all 3 generations of Spider-Man
exactly.
to make that one Spider-Man movie.
To make that much money, to convince that, like, they really did a novel thing there to convince that many people to go watch. And good luck trying to do that again. Like, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So I think that was an anomaly. I think a Ghostbusters and Demon Slayer was an anomaly, and I think that's why I think like.
What? You don't think Ghostbusters can do it again?
I think Ghostbusters can do it again.
So can Demon Slayer.
Yes, but I think to expect those type of box office numbers is like unrealistic. I think the expectation now is like half of what you used to make pre-pandemic for whatever reason. No one knows why. I don't know why, but I just think people just don't care about the movies as much.
Speaking of going to the mall, we went to the mall and we people watch as we do.
Yes.
We got a box of chicken now. If you ever been to the Santini Mall, chicken now is really great.
Yes.
And so we were sitting around, loafing around, eating our chicken, and we were just people watching, and we were noticing, holy smokes, I mean, no one our age looks cool anymore.
Yes.
We all look like the parents or the teachers or just like the older people.
Yeah.
And the young people are really turning into, you know, the it people.
Yeah, so
It makes me feel
what I want to describe to people who I get this feeling that people online, actually people in general, because we've been stuck inside for the past 2 years, are a little bit behind the times. People still think millennials are like 20 something when we are 30 now. So there's a certain look to the youngest of millennials, us. When you go to the mall, we are young parents. We look sleep deprived. We do not care about fashion anymore. And if we do, we're completely outdated. We dress like millennials with our skinny jeans, at most high-waisted skinny jeans.
Man, it's kind of a faux pas now.
Yeah.
Wear skinny jeans.
Yeah. And usually they'll have like a stroller with like a toddler. Or maybe a toddler's like walking around with them. Like, we're parents now. Like, people need to get this through their heads. We're parents now. And then the Gen Z are actually older than you think. They're late high school, college, and graduating college. Like, they might be working at the mall and stuff like that. So they're the most hip. And I can't relate to them anymore because I don't look like them anymore. They have a completely different sense of fashion and everything. And then there's Gen Alpha, which, if you've never heard of it before, Gen Alpha is basically 12 and under. And they're basically millennials kids. And maybe like Gen X.
Basically
kids.
our kids.
Yeah.
I see.
And it's really, really fascinating to see these 3 different generations interact in the same space. But what I've noticed about Gen Z is that they used to dress a certain way. They still kind of do. If you're aware of TikTok, it's that like e-girl look. It's very like pastel colors, sometimes very edgy if they're really into anime. And it's like a lot of mom jeans, a lot of like baggy clothing, like baggy sweaters and big big chunky dad shoes and colorful hair, usually. Very like gender fluid, or like sometimes girls will look more tomboyish and boys will look more feminine, like soft boy, that kind of thing. But then now, as they're aging, they're starting to transition to what I would call their Miley Cyrus phase.
What is the Miley Cyrus phase?
It's when, like, she was a Disney Channel star transitioning into becoming a woman and like her own thing. So she had her wrecking ball phase where she had to like show everyone how much of a woman she was by being naked on a wrecking ball. And then she became normal all over again because she had to get that out of her system. Gen Z's like right about to enter this wrecking ball phase, and they have this desire to look and make people understand that they are adults.
Sexual beings.
Yes.
So we were going to go to our favorite cafe to talk about this podcast, and then as we were going, we had to go through the stop intersection in the neighborhood, and like these two girls straight up from the set of Clueless in the 90s. Just a little bit more updated, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's not quite the Clueless Christina Aguilera look that we grew up with, but it's amazing how similar it is.
Yeah.
It's like people, I was telling you, like, wait, those people, they're not from here, right? Like, because they don't look of the time. They really look like when we were kids.
Yeah, like of our time. They don't look of our time with our like skinny ties. Because
I think I said in this podcast, it felt like we were evolving from that place.
Yeah.
And we're going back to that look. I was like, oh my God.
So I describe it as 90s meets 60s.
Huh.
There's like the 60s color palette with the 90s fashion cut. Silhouette. So as Gen Z is aging, it used to be like 80s. It used to be like mom jeans. It used to be high-waisted everything, baggy everything. Now it's tight everything, but it's a lot of skin.
So I guess it just makes sense. Like kids were really super into Stranger Things in the 80s look, and now it's turning into the 90s. Yes,
but with like 60s influence. So like big platform shoes to make the legs look really, really long. Short, tiny short skirts to show off the long legs. But also it's like tight, so it has like booty. Like you can admire the booty. And then like they really like midriff because of Charlie D'Amelio, I think. And just when you're young, you want to show off how like small your stomach is. So like it's a lot of stomach. And then they also like boobies.
So it's just everything.
So it's everything. It's everything. It's
just everything.
It's like the opposite. Well, not necessarily the opposite, but like millennials we were like of the Kim Kardashian era. Like we were all about
that ass.
That yeah.
About that ass.
The junk in the trunk.
About that ass. and nothing else really.
Yeah. It's all exactly. That's why the skinny jeans. That's why all the tight-fitting club attire basically.
Right.
But then Gen Z, it's more just nothing. Just skimpy. And in a way, like I thought millennial fashion was a little bit classless.
What? Really?
Yeah, when you have like your ass out all the time and stuff. I just
we are the generation of the yoga pants. Right?
Yes.
Yoga pants.
Yes. And the leggings and the skinny jeans and all that stuff. But truly, when I look at like Gen Z, they don't care about class. They just want to be seen as adults who are sexually active, I guess. Who are looking. They're looking. Their heads are on a swivel.
Oh man, they've been indoors for 2 whole years. Oh man, there's one thing on their minds right now.
And they're finding each other.
Man, it was already bad back in the late 2000s with us. I guess. I mean, like, I could only imagine if you haven't been able to, like, go to a school dance and socialize with the opposite sex for 2 whole years.
And you're that age.
Oh my God, you paired so for you.
You're college age, or right after college age. You're like, you're looking. And because
I let my child out into the mall, and now they have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So soon. Because of, and like, it makes so much sense why they're really, really into anime. You know, like anime. If you have not seen my,
it is for the repressed.
Yes, it is for the repressed in so many ways.
And what are Gen Z after the past 2 years?
Repressed. Very repressed. And because of that, I think we're gonna make this prediction that raunchier movies are gonna come back.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I think people are sick and tired of PC culture.
It's over for that shit, man.
'Cause-
especially as these kids grow up and they're joining the workforce and realize the world's not that polite at all. It's the like, you know, they say, oh, you know, we need to be like this online, but the world's not gonna be like that for you, man. The world's gonna chew you up and spit you out, man.
And it makes sense because if you think about us as millennials, when we were going through that age too, around the 2010s era, if you're aware of like what was happening on YouTube, it was all that not PC culture stuff, the like bad jokes and the offensive.
All the stuff that Ethan Klein's getting in trouble for.
Yes, being edgy just to be edgy. Like Gen Z's breaching that territory, and I think we're gonna get movies like Superbad again. We're gonna get
knocked up.
Yeah.
And I Love You, Man.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be finally allowed to like
laugh.
Yeah.
Man, it's been so long.
Make offensive jokes again. But I don't think it's ever gonna get like that bad again.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh.
The world can surprise you, man. Because I don't know. I just feel like there's always like a slingshotting effect.
That's true.
You know? You don't know how hard it's gonna go the other side, but it really feels like things are shifting.
Yeah, it does feel like people are sick and tired of being told like you're
an awful human being because of your blah.
Yeah, they don't like being virtue signaled to anymore. It just doesn't work. Like all that stuff, it seems like people are growing out of it. And since at the time we made a lot of predictions about the animation industry that I had basically recently left, I predict that Western animation is going to be irrelevant for a while now.
Are you being a doomer?
No. So like, I have to always check myself because I am who I am, and I have PTSD in relation to the industry. I have bias. I can admit that. But I try to find news that proves me wrong to help balance my own negativity towards the industry and my like doomerism. But sadly, I saw an article from the Hollywood Reporter that was saying that Turning Red, the Pixar movie, the upcoming Pixar movie, if you've never heard of it, it's about like some Chinese Canadian girl has this weird thing in her family where she turns into a red panda.
And she turns into a red panda in the most inconvenient moments, and madness ensues from there with her buddies.
Yeah. And so we saw this trailer
in theaters, thinking that it would be a movie that you could potentially watch in theaters.
But turns out they recently kind of changed their minds, and it's going to straight to Disney Plus. You won't even have to pay an extra $30 just to watch it. Like, it's going to be free with Disney Plus as long as you have the subscription. And that's basically the third time they're doing that after Luca and Soul. And this is Pixar we're talking about. These are not bad movies. These are not low budget movies. This isn't a straight to DVD Disney Tunes thing from way back in the day just to fill up the catalog. These look like genuine attempts at making a fun time for people, going straight to streaming, which is like Hollywood can do whatever it can to not make it appear like straight to streaming isn't the new straight to DVD, but I think us as audience members, of course we think of it like that. Yeah, of course.
You know?
Of course.
The moment we don't smell confidence, it's going straight to straight to streaming.
So it doesn't matter how many puff pieces Hollywood, the media wants to put out for movies that aren't doing well. Let's just put it like that, because like they have said that like Encanto did great, Soul did great, Raya did great, but like your actions are saying the opposite. So like if you had confidence in this Turning Red movie. It's gonna go to theaters. Why isn't it? And like clearly in this article, they like sources close to people who work at Pixar said that, oh, we're not outraged, we're just disappointed. We understand that families aren't going to the theaters anymore and stuff like that. And
I don't know, man. If I worked on the movie and I was excited and I was telling my friends and family this is going to be my first Pixar movie, it's going to be in theaters, we're all going to watch it together, you know?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden just like completely just disappears and just doesn't show up in the theaters.
Yeah.
And I still see movies go to the theaters.
Yeah.
I still see like something like a Ghostbusters and Spider-Man do well.
Yeah.
How come my movie didn't go into theaters, man?
Exactly.
I'd be pretty upset.
You can't blame the fact that families, quote unquote, families aren't going to the theater anymore when clearly families did go to the theater for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And for Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. And for Demon Slayer.
Yep.
Like, there are a lot of instances where families, Fast 9, went to the theater. And you can't keep blaming it on that. Otherwise, you're delusional. And I think the people who are smart, who are in the industry, understand this. People who have been working for decades and have seen the ebbs and flow of when animation wasn't the hottest thing. And suddenly it was. And then they can monetize and influence other people and, like, live that star elite lifestyle or whatever. And then now it's going back to the way it used to be, where like it's not going to be all that cool anymore to work. And not that there might not even be that many jobs, you know, for that stuff anymore, because like why clearly like Bob Chapek, the executives, they understand these movies aren't making money, because why else would they do this? And
why are they pushing more Marvel stuff?
Yeah. And if
to the forefront,
if you understand how business works, like this is a business. It doesn't matter how much you love your how passionate you are about this industry, whatever. It's a business. The people at the top are business people, and they're going to make business decisions about whether or not this is going to be a thing or not. And because of this, I really think Western animation is going to become irrelevant, because look, who's watching American cartoons? Who's watching like these movies anymore? Like, it really is just a way for parents to like not parent and like just put an iPad in front of their kid, like, here, watch this. I have been listening to How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It is a fantastic book. It has helped me a lot already. If you want to win friends and influence people, improve your social skills, head over to audibletrial.com/The Honey and Absinthe Podcast to get one free audiobook. That's audibletrial.com/The Honey and Absinthe Podcast. So I am kind of happy about this, because now that I am out of it and out of the cult, I am happy to see that soon, very, very soon, less impressionable minds are going to be seduced out of hundreds of thousands of dollars by shills who are selling a lifestyle and a career that might not even exist for a lot of people in the near future. And I'm happy less people will be taken advantage of. I think the pandemic's going to be over soon.
It does feel that way. It does feel as I think recently the James Bond. Hey, governor! Oi, governor! Mm-hmm. Yeah. The British people.
Yeah, they're lifting restrictions. I think the pandemic will be no more very, very, very soon. Because in California, barely anyone is abiding by the rules. I also think in the year 2022, people are going to be more selfish and individualistic.
What?
Yeah.
I thought the future was socialism.
You know, I think people are tired of that.
I thought that's what the industry wants. What are you talking about? I
don't think the industry has much influence anymore. Which is interesting to me, how that can change so quickly.
That happened so fast.
Yeah. Because I think celebrities don't have that much influence anymore. Like, people really don't care what celebrities' politics and opinions are anymore. I'm not even sure that people know. and if they did, I don't think they care. Like, that used to be so different, though, just a few years ago, because if a celebrity said something political, especially, people would
be like, yes, queen.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Here's
and now
your
it's
crown.
like, no, shut up, just do your monkey dance. Like, we don't care. Which is like kind of how celebrities should be treated, honestly. Like, you're an actor, just act, please. I don't want you to yell at me.
And tell me how to live my life.
Yeah, and how I'm a bad human being or whatever. I just want to watch your movie. Like, don't ruin it for me. But I do think people are going to be more selfish and individualistic. Not because I believe in people. Not because of that. I think people will be that way because of the economy.
Because people have more things, heavier things to worry about.
Yes.
Like food on the table,
Yes.
how they will get their bread, instead of the usual stuff.
Yeah, the usual, like feminism.
You're racist.
Or, yeah, whatever. Like,
Because you breathe this air, this American air.
yeah.
You're racist, you have American flag.
Down with the patriarchy.
Down with the patriarchy.
I think now that...
One day we will all just look at that and go like, man, remember those times? Crazy. People went crazy.
People went crazy. But you guys stayed sane. We stayed semi-sane.
And we are looking at all the people still be insane.
Yes. Like, they're crazy people. But because the economy has really gone to shit, like
It's really bad.
Netflix's stocks are dropping, but honestly the entire stock market's stocks are dropping right now. I don't know what is going on. Doesn't look so good.
End times, man.
End times. Inflation is through the roof. So people are strapped for cash. They might not have jobs, lost all this stuff, can't afford bread anymore. They have better things to worry about. And I think I've seen...
Then the patriarchy.
Yeah, I think people will become more selfish because of that. They'll start being like, why can't I eat?
I love to see people persuade people that the patriarchy is still what we need to focus on instead of inflation.
Yeah.
I just want to see that happen. I just want to see them try. Because it just seems like, how could you do that? You know?
Especially knowing, because I'm really into finances, I know a lot of people in the industry, a lot of quote-unquote wealthy people, don't save a cent of their money. They live paycheck to paycheck, even if they're making a lot of money. Imagine living paycheck to paycheck, and then the cost of groceries doubles or triples.
And then you realize, oh wait, I can't just get more money.
Yeah.
I'm used to this lifestyle.
And you have no idea how to budget, you have no idea how to save money, you don't have savings, period. And potentially you might lose your job because animation's not doing so well anymore.
Are we looking at a lot of layoffs this year?
Probably. Because I
didn't want to say it, but I think one of our predictions is there going to be a lot of layoffs.
Yeah. Because of a lot of reasons. When things... Okay.
Why are there going to be a lot of layoffs this year, Jan-chan?
If you run a business and you are losing money, what is the first thing that you do? You cut costs. What are costs in entertainment? Labor. What is the labor? People who make the content. So let's say you have a live action show, an animated show, and I don't know, a special project or whatever. Which one is making the most money? You're going to focus all your attention to that one. Everything that is not doing so well, you're going to cut and cut and cut and cut. Because that's the easiest way to make your profits go back up very, very quickly. Instead of just, I don't know, selling more product, making more product. You don't have money to make more product. You have to cut costs. So they're going to cut all the not usable, not productive, not income generating things, and usually it's going to be artists first, sadly, and especially it's going to be the least valuable artists, the ones that are making the least amount of money, and especially it's going to be the ones running their mouth, who don't do anything but make you lose money. So
which is like talk bullshit on Twitter
and basically yell at their fans. Yeah. So in hard times you can't do that. In good times, you can yell at the fans all you want because, like, what are you...
Clearly you're making money hand over fist.
Like, so yell at the fans. They don't matter, apparently. But when things are bad, the fans really matter, right? Because they're giving you the moolah. So you shut your mouth or you're gonna get axed. So yeah, that's why. A lot of reasons why, but I think that's why.
Man, why? That just makes me feel like this whole Pixar Red Panda thing. It's like, dang, you really just don't see it that way. That it won't make money. That it probably won't make money. That's what they probably think.
Yeah.
And I was like, geez, you didn't even give it a chance. And I bet all of the people in that movie made that movie under the presumption it would be in theaters, because these animated movies, they usually take 2 or 3 years. These CG animated ones.
At least.
This was at least like they were like well into this in 2019, right before the pandemic, and they were like, "Oh, this is good. This is gonna be great. It's gonna come out in theaters."
And these movies on average take like 4 years at least. Like this is a long time coming.
It's just insane. It's just insane to just like go into a project and then the whole world changes and then your thing doesn't even show up in the theater. It's insane.
And because of clearly, as the restrictions are being lifted, I think a lot of people are going to have the same realization that we did, people watching at the mall, that like there are different generations. I think this is finally the year that the attention is going to shift from millennials to Gen Z.
Because like we said, there's just nothing attention grabbing about millennials
anymore. Yeah, we don't define culture anymore. Like we're too busy. We have jobs, careers, and children to take care of. Like you're not cool when you become a parent.
Officially.
Yeah. There are so many people when like fashion or beauty lifestyle influencers become moms and mommy vloggers, basically, their entire like audience goes away. It's really sad. But then they develop a new one full of like moms and families and stuff like that. As for politics, Dems will lose power, for sure. The conversation has shifted from if to how much.
How much?
Yeah.
How hard are the Dems going to get cream?
And the reason being, it's just a historical thing that happens. Like, usually halfway into a president's term, they kind of lose power in the Senate and in Congress in general. Like, it happened with Obama, it happened with Trump, it happened just, historically, that's just what happens. That's why I think people go like, well, history has proven that, like, second year, there's like a restructuring, and then power becomes more balanced.
But what's different? Why is it all over now? Is it hyperbolic to say it's all over? Your feeling?
No, I think because the economy is doing bad, usually people will flock to the other side. Because like clearly something's not working here, and when it's about money and literally like people being able to just live their day-to-day life, it forces a lot of people to just get pragmatic and realistic and
have that Janet energy.
Yeah. And then you can't, it does not matter what someone says to you at a certain point. If you cannot put food on the table, you will go to the person who says they can't help you do that. It just doesn't matter. Dems,
because it's like they had one job, man, just to keep everybody fed.
Yeah, you had one job.
Happy and prosperous.
Yeah.
And when that's going down the toilet, people are gonna get really upset.
Yeah, and we also predict that the Dems will push everything into a closet at the last minute.
Oh yes. When we were knee deep in the recall election of Hitler and hair gel, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
We noticed something really funny, that right before his, pretty much a month before the recall, almost every homeless camp just disappeared somehow. I don't know where they went. I don't know how they shooed them to go wherever else. But like, it's, as a Los Angeles person, you drive down the freeway, it's not difficult to see encampments. It
was like overnight. Like the week before, we were driving around and we were planning on like filming certain things about LA for the Texas versus LA video, and then the next weekend, gone. Everything was gone. I was like, what the heck? I've never seen this street so empty. There's like this freeway encampment that we drive past all the time in Eagle Rock that was just gone. Like we go there all the time for food, and it started with like a tiny little tent, and it progressively turned into a big city, and then just like that, nothing. And then after the recall, everything went back to normal again.
This is just really bad. Again, the homelessness is just
and the crime,
awful.
just worse.
I'm noticing this is the MO of the left.
Yes.
They talk a big game about how great they are, and then when push comes to shove and their ass is on the line, they'll sweep shit under the rug. And then when they win, because they talk a big game about like, oh, we're such great fucking people, they immediately are just like slobs.
Yeah.
And can't govern for shit.
They are basically, if you've ever done like the high school like president elections, it's the person that wins because they promise like,
I'll buy you candy.
Yeah, I'll buy you candy.
I'll get you chicken nuggets from McDonald's.
And we'll have more like minimum days. We'll have like an amazing prom.
Yeah.
We'll get you pizza Fridays, whatever.
Pizza Fridays. Don't you like pizza Fridays?
Or like parties every single week. And then like none of that happens, but like you elected this person anyways. Whereas like the other person was like, I'll just do a good job. I'll just like make sure. I actually don't know what high school presidents do at all. But but like that's the Dems.
Teach kids about bureaucracy at a young age. Is what it is.
It's actually a great way to teach kids about, because it's exactly the same in adulthood. So yeah, the Dems do the exact same thing, and I predict, because it happened during the recall, that it's not going to change anyone's minds. The people who are going to vote for the Dems are going to vote for the Dems, and the people who don't aren't. Like, I don't know why they think that changes people's minds. I don't really understand why they think that works. Cause like,
I think they think it works because they think people are short-sighted and they have a short memory.
Do you think people are short-sighted and have a short memory?
Clearly, because like somehow Gavin Newsom's still our governor. Clearly.
I mean, I guess. I just looked at it. I was like, you think I'm dumb? And then I was like, I mean...
Like, I swear, like everyone says on the internet that when they go out of state from California, it's a different fucking planet. It's true.
It is.
It's true. You go to Dallas, you go to Arizona, it's a different world. And then I come here and it's miserable. Everyone's upset. Everyone's racing down the freeway with a death wish, man.
Even driving to Joshua Tree, like 2-3 hours away, Palm Springs... It's like a different planet. Like,
just chiller.
Just less people packed together to like bother each other. Because of this change in people getting really frustrated with PC culture and being told how to think and what not to say, it's going to be cool to be a centrist.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's a lot of kids, they really like being a socialist. But then a lot of kids these days like being an edgy socialist.
Yes. And what is an edgy socialist?
Basically a socialist flirting with, the right.
Which is just a centrist. Which I am here for. Because I'm like, good.
Yo, we're finally here.
We're we're going back the other way.
People are like, you know what it is? It's Gen Z looking at their paychecks and going like, why is the government fucking me this hard?
Yeah.
Why? What is this income tax and why is there a lot of it? That's not fair.
I think a lot of Gen Z mistake that for capitalism, and then they just go like, oh, socialism is so much better. Because I see a lot of that. A lot of people who like have gripes about business stuff. Like, for example, I saw this TikTok of this girl. She, I think, was working at like a Dunkin' Donuts or something. And at the end of the day, she had to throw out all the donuts into the trash. And she was just filming herself throw it all in the trash and complaining about how this is capitalism. This is so wasteful that we can't even donate it or use it wisely at the end of the day. And then there was a response that I saw that was like just amazing. The person was like, this girl thinks socialism will fix this, and she's blaming capitalism when it's government regulation is the reason why she can't just donate it. Because they used to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they used to. But because of government regulations, I think it's just stupidity. It's like people in government don't understand that businesses can run themselves and like make decisions on their own, and being like, we need to tell you how to dispose of your donuts. You have to throw them away. And then they're like, but we can donate. No, you throw them away. It's like, no, but okay, fine. It is law, so I have to throw it away. And then this girl who is an employee who doesn't understand anything is like, capitalism is the why life sucks. But I have already been seeing a lot of edgelord people in politics who used to like to call themselves socialists try to become edgy socialists, and literally you're just a centrist.
It's a little grifty.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, oh, come on, stick to your guns, man. If you said you're down for socialism, I expect you to go down in flames with it.
I expect you.
Just like us. Just like we were like, oh yeah, fuck socialism. Way back when you couldn't say that shit.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Making fun of the CCP and all that stuff. Oh, classic 2021.
Now it's like suddenly it's like,
oh, it's so cool to shit on the
edgy.
CCP. It's so cool to shit on communists now. Oh my god.
But I also predict that.
What does this mean though for the pendulum swinging on the other way?
Conservatives are gonna get annoying real fast.
Oh, so annoying.
Like so fast.
Like the way that they're supposed to be when we were growing up.
Yes.
It's annoying.
Yes. Because like a lot of people will like call me alt-right or a white supremacist or whatever, like, because clearly I am white.
Yeah, the whitest. Janet's the whitest of all the white supremacists.
But like what they don't understand is, no, I just disagree with you crazy people. And I don't like conservatives either. And they're also annoying, and I don't like them because I never liked them growing up. They were like the worst. They're like the religious people that would like tell me I'm going to hell because I don't
leave room for Jesus.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
When like my parents are from China and we weren't allowed to have a religion, like I don't know anything about religion because my parents weren't allowed to.
You should read the Bible.
I should,
just for fun.
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
I know.
The things that happen in there.
The stories you tell me, I feel like, man.
You wouldn't believe what's in there.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can already see it. I already see it in movies, actually. A lot of recent movies are starting to try to appeal to the other side, in a weird kind of way. We might talk about this later, but like Scream did it.
They're like pandering to quarterings and geeks and gamers.
Yes.
All these people who like make a living off of shitting on entertainment. It's all like all of a sudden, instead of pandering to the woke college kids, it's like they're pandering to this new crowd of people.
Yeah.
Why? I can only assume it's because normal critics don't really have power anymore.
Yeah. And they know that.
They know that. Yeah. But who do people listen to, and who makes the most outrage and most noise? It's the people on the internet doing this sort of Tim Pool style covering of the industry type stuff.
Yes, and when I felt that being pandered to, I did not like it. I don't understand people who like being pandered to. The people who are like love, just like, ooh, like rubbing their nipples, like yes, pander to me. I don't understand it because I find it gross.
You don't find pleasure in being seen?
No, because I don't want that to be the point of the movie.
Or whatever you're consuming.
Yeah, like I want a good story. I don't want to be seen in the movie. Like I just want you to be a good artist and do your selfish artist thing. Like I don't want you to like go like, see, I agree with you. I am parroting your beliefs back at you.
Yeah.
Like no, don't do that. That's gross. Yeah, so I don't like that. I don't like the pendulum. I hope it swings right into the center.
Me too.
And not all the way back and forth, because I prefer balance.
It's interesting because our generation has known what it's like in the beginning of like youth, being like just having overbearing conservatives in our lives.
Yes.
You know? And that
Yes.
being the thing for like, good part of our youth. Mm-hmm. But then in adulthood, we've witnessed what it's like from overbearing lefties.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's interesting. I always thought it was like an interesting thing that like conservatives are religious people and the people on the left aren't. They're either agnostic or atheist. And I just think like, no, they're really religious. They're really into the left's really into their like super anti-racism, we need to see all color stuff, anti-patriarchy stuff, and it's their religion. It's like these are all the people who are angry at their parents for being conservative, and they like are like, oh, I'm never gonna like latch on to a religion, and then they latch on to religion.
Hilariously, because I think people are naturally collectivists. I think people...
Why aren't we? I feel like we're actively just allergic to it. We don't like being a part of a group.
We just don't like being told what to do.
I see.
I think we're really, really extremely individualistic, I think, to a fault, because there are nice things about being in a community and in a group. Like, that's... As I grew older and I like got over my weird resentment towards religious people, because there's some really annoying ones in my life, I did understand that like it's kind of nice that some people can go to church every week and have people who care about them, and people that get advice from, people to talk to, friends, and that kind of community is really, really nice. But you give up a lot to be a part of that community. A lot of your own personal wants and needs. I don't like doing anything for anyone else just because I'm obligated to. Like, if I'm going to do something for someone else, I want to do that. Like, you're not going to make me do that. I want, out of the goodness of my heart, or because I like you, to do that. But I don't want to be forced to. Even the implication of like, well, I did this thing for you last time, so like you owe me. Like, I hate that. I hate that with a passion. I do not like owing anyone anything. And I think it's really natural. I think it's a human instinctual thing. Like, we were hunter-gatherers. We would not survive if we did not look out for each other. And I think that's why most people are like that. I think it's okay to gravitate towards like cult-like stuff, whether it's religion or whether it's politics or whatever. But I think it's not good to be so into it that becomes your like identity. You have no sense of self. You have no way to think critically for yourself, and you only do things for the group because the group told you.
You want to look good in front of the group.
Yeah, I think that is really bad. But I think we're in a time when like a lot of people are really susceptible to that, because when people give you answers to things that you're struggling with, because I think with church and with the cult of the left, they're trying to solve your loneliness. They're trying to solve
the decade problem, like just the problems that man has had ever since.
Sense of belonging,
how to love somebody else,
being seen and feeling special, and all
your
that stuff.
identity as a person.
I think both things are trying to give you, they are trying to sell you that, and then people buy it because people have wants and needs and have issues they need to deal with. It's sad. How did we get to this really philosophical conversation? Anyways, so those are all our predictions for 2022. And now for our resolutions. Our New Year's resolutions.
Janet, what are your resolutions for 2022?
I have made an overall theme for 2022. Normally, I make resolutions like too many, like losing weight, that kind of thing. My overall theme is just self-improvement. I had come to this realization in 2022. 2 years after I had quit my career, this thing that was my identity. It was kind of like a really bad breakup. This thing that I had put so much effort into, and love and care and passion and everything, I had to break up with it. And they always say it takes like however much time you're in a relationship, it takes like half the amount of time to get over that person. I think it really did take me 2 years to truly...
Because you were in it for 4?
Yeah.
It's like you were in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Emotionally abusive relationship for 4 years. And then you had your like sort of coping phase and like your eating ice cream phase. Yes.
Yes, lots of ice cream.
And then sort of finding yourself phase probably last year. But then now you're at the like, I think I'm ready to fuck again.
Yes. I'm in the phase where like, new year, new me, I'm going to be the best human version of myself I can be.
Super Janet. Janet's going to try to attempt to be Super Janet.
I am going to try to attempt to be a superhuman. I'm going to do as much as I can to improve myself, to be the best version of myself, because I am turning 30 this year. It'd be nice to like start off this decade
with a bang,
being the best self I could possibly be, looking the best I could possibly look, just in general. Self-improvement, that's my goal for this year. What about you?
I think mine is very simple. Just like last year, I think I had a very simple thing of like to just breathe more, which helped. I think breathing more has helped me just relax and just take things moment to moment, and helped me understand that coffee is really bad for me. That like coffee just accelerates my I need to do stuff because I'm gonna die tomorrow. I need to do stuff because I'm gonna die. Like if I just breathe, not take any caffeine that like makes me anxious, and I just breathe, life is really great. But like I think I still struggle with like the feeling of like I'm gonna die tomorrow, so I need to do something important, and that makes me feel still really anxious. But I was thinking, especially with the way things are now, because we're like moving and life is constantly changing, and I thought my life would like turn out to go in this direction, but it's like in this direction, and then Corona happened, and it's like in this direction, and I just feel like, you know what, I'm like 30 now, and life just goes where it just goes, you know, and I think I'm exactly where I need to be, and I think my resolution is to like continue to breathe, but then in those moments where I'm breathing and things are kind of okay, but then I'm thinking like, oh, I need to do something because I'm going to die tomorrow. I think I should remind myself, it's okay though. I'm exactly where I need to be, because a lot of the time I'm always thinking of like I should be doing something else.
Yeah, you should be somewhere else.
I'm not happy with the me in the moment that I'm in, and I think I maybe like TLDR just to appreciate the moment, because now I can like slow down because of the breathing. Yeah, and now I need to just like live. Yeah. Now
think less.
Just
exist. Very
exist.
Buddhist.
If our audience didn't really have a New Year's resolution, and because I think we recommended one, which is like to care more about yourself. I think. Do you have one for them? I would say I would just say try making this year the year of self-improvement, because now that like things are opening up and we can do things now and we're less focused on what's on our screens and everything. I'm sure a lot of people gained a lot of weight during the pandemic, or you're not exactly where you want to be and you don't know how to get there. You feel really lost in life. I think the best thing you can do for yourself is to just work on yourself. Whether it's like to meditate more, to journal, to exercise more consistently and lose some weight that you gained, or just do something to improve yourself. When, for me at least, it feels like everyone lost like 2 years. We all blipped and we all lost some time. And I think by focusing on myself, I feel like I'm getting time back in a weird way. Like I feel like I'm going backwards in time, and it's nice. I feel like I have all the time in the world now. Our recommendation this week is going to be last year's 2021's predictions, because it's kind of amazing. We listened to it this morning, actually, just to review, just like, oh, how did we do? Did we do good? Did we do good? Did we do bad? I think we did really well for ourselves, especially you. You had a lot of really neat predictions that came true. What are some of the ones that surprised yourself, that if you think at the top of your head? I surprised myself in that I kind of predicted the Great Resignation inadvertently. Like, that wasn't actually something we talked about prior to filming that episode. We still thought like, oh, no one's gonna quit their job. Yeah, come on. But I kind of predicted it in a weird way, and I was like, wow, look at that.
I control the simulation. We predicted so much. We predicted inflation before everyone was screaming about inflation. And then we predicted that people are mad as hell and they're not going to take it anymore. We predicted that the Animation Guild wasn't going to do shit. And they still haven't done shit. Because negotiations were last year and they still haven't happened.
did shit.
Did you?
I prepared for the future. I'm moving away from California.
Yes.
So I get lower taxes, lower everything.
Yes.
So it doesn't really matter what happens with the Animation Guild bullshit.
Yeah.
I'll be A-okay.
We figured out a way for you to be an individual while being in the guild. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh,
Because we can't rely on the guild.
Peeves them so much. Like, oh, he's not part of us. He's not doing it the way we want everyone to do it.
Join us. Oh my god, we need to talk about this. So we got an email.
Oh, it's not a guild anymore. It's a pack. I'm sorry. Guild's a super pack.
Yeah. So
Like, I remember when we were talking about the guild in this podcast, we were like, do you know they're a political organization? They're like so political. And now they're like overtly saying, we're a pack now.
They're just saying it
We're
now.
going to canvass for the government. It's like, this is what I'm talking, like, why are we paying for this? Why are we paying for this?
Yeah, so
I'm paying for strike funds and being protected against the mafia that is Hollywood, not the mafia that is the government. You know?
yeah, I still get guild emails because I don't have the effort to unsubscribe, but it's also kind of amusing to me. I'm not gonna lie. They sent us an email where I could not believe my eyes. They said, "We are starting a pack." As in a super PAC, as in...
Explain what a PAC is for all the others who don't understand.
It's basically it stands for Political Action Committee, I think.
So our guild dollars is going towards people who are probably going to canvass for the next Gavin Newsom or the
politics.
next, approved candidate by Hollywood.
And
Approved Hollywood candidate.
The way they phrased it was, we are going to use the money to help... I guess petition government for our needs, for entertainment industry workers' needs. I'm like, bullshit. I've seen in the past year during the recall everything that like so much of our guild resources and dollars went into politics, helping Gavin Newsom of all people. This money was supposed to help the working artists. We were supposed to have a strike fund. We're supposed to have so many things. They promised us so many things. And instead, it's being... I don't know what your membership dues go to anymore. I don't know what any of the guild is for at this point, except they're outright telling us we're going into politics. Yeah, I'm just like...
I'm not even going to hide it anymore.
So the idea that a guild is a collectivist organization of workers to negotiate our contracts together for more bargaining power, that's not what this is anymore, okay? This is like some political arm of the government, specifically the Democratic arm of the government. And
Man, if only we had the money that we just keep from the guild. Whew, that'd be pretty dope. I wish we had that option. That'd be so sick.
It's just...
that'd be so awesome.
I was so flabbergasted that I saw that email that I was like... I sat there for like 10 minutes straight just going like, no. Does this stand for something else? Are you referring to something else? But then I read through the email. I was like, nope. They're making it back. Okay, I guess. Yeah. So... What we got wrong last year was that we predicted that theaters were going to go away.
Yeah, I think we overestimated the damage that Corona has done for theaters. But I think, especially towards the end of last year, people really just wanted to escape. Yeah. Especially the Corona, the restrictions and stuff. They just wanted like good old fashioned escapism with Spider-Man and all those movies that did pretty well.
If you like this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, jingle all our buttons. Check out these episodes over here to binge every single 100 episodes. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.